Next stop, Baltimore. The Royals will play in the American League Championship Series.
The Los Angeles Angels have not had a solid playoff run since 2014, and it's been almost 10 years since we last seen this team in the postseason, and it's really weird because they have some of the best players in the league on their team, and they still can't get the job done. So if we take a look at some of their last couple seasons, it has not really been well at all. We can take a look at some of their last records. Obviously, their last run was 2014 when they lost to the Royals, so, that team was really solid that year as well. But that's the last time they even had anything close to a postseason run. The best, they haven't even gone 500. I mean, it's been pretty bad for the Angels since 2016, haven't gone over 500, so not really ideal. And if we look kind of at the current Angels right now, they currently sit in 4th place in the AL West. They're 68 and 78 when I'm recording this video, 3 games from elimination from out of the playoffs, 14 games back of the Houston Astros. And if we take a look at the wild card, they currently are 12 and a half games back in the wild card and 5 games from elimination. So it's really interesting because this team had a lot of hopes and dreams kind of for a playoff run this year. They obviously went for it at the trade deadline, especially. So it's a little bit weird to see where this team's at, I think. I think we look at that trade deadline and, we were thinking really positive of this squad. When they picked up all those guys, they started to win again, and then they just completely lost it all. I mean, they went on like a crazy losing streak, and now they're just struggling again. So the big question is, where do the Angels go from here? So they've obviously had not really much success in the past. Current success is not really there. What does the future hold for a team like this? And I do think the one positive is you look at the draft. I mean, the Angels have had some really good draft picks, I think, over the last couple years. I mean, you can look at the draft picks even recently with Zach Neto. Kid only played 40 games and is in the MLB, and he's already doing a pretty good job in the league. He's currently 22 this year. He's batting .233 in the league right now, so a lot of room for improvement, I think, on a player like this. He's got 30 ribbies as well. He's got 5 stolen bases and hasn't been caught stealing yet. So maybe they got to utilize him there a little bit more because he's catching the bags pretty well. Yeah, interesting player overall. And then I think you look at the recent draft pick that is already in the league from this year's draft. So we can look at Nolan Schanuel's stats. This kid's 21 years old and he's already batting .288 with the squad playing first base. So one of the pretty solid pieces they have already. He's got a lot of hits, doesn't really have many RBIs, only at 3 RBIs and 1 double so far as a first baseman. He does have a lot of walks at 14. So pretty good stats overall for the short time that he's played. He's only got, about 90 plate appearances. So not a whole lot of time over there at first base, but the guys like this are definitely making an impact on their team with this young rookies drafting that they got going. So I think if they can keep this up with a lot of these rookies they're bringing up, I think it could definitely work, because they're really the only team that is really doing this. Like a lot of the other teams are obviously waiting in the minors, like it's supposed to go, but Angels are being kind of different and they're kind of bringing them up early because I think they want to win now. But I think it has been working a little bit in their favor, to be honest. So it's definitely interesting to see where this experiment's going to go. And if we take a look at their contracts right now, they obviously still have the massive Trout contract, the Anthony Rendon contract, which, they're paying a lot of money for. And you obviously have the Ohtani contract, which, we don't really know where he's going to go, if he's going to go to another team, to Japan. He's only 28, so he's got definitely a lot of time in the league, and he's definitely one of the best players in the league, I think, in my opinion, in general. So it'd be very interesting to see where he goes. I mean, you have a couple guys that are free agents, like Gio Urshela is going to be gone probably. He's making 8.4. And a couple of guys they traded for are already gone. So not a lot of free agents on this team as we look forward, but it'd just be interesting to see where they even go from here, who they're going to sign, because it's getting really interesting with this squad. I do think the Angels could still make a splash. They're currently paying $203 million for this 2023 roster, and next year they're already paying $119.4 million. So it's definitely a possibility that they could get a massive contract like that and sign a couple guys back. But I don't really know what the future holds for this squad. Now, yes, I do think the Angels will sign a couple big free agents this offseason because they want to win, obviously. And they're going to bring a couple more rookies up probably. So I don't know if this team will even hit 500 next year. I think that's got to be their goal, at least for next season, is to at least go 500 before you even think about the playoffs. Because they haven't done that in, like almost, 8 years, I think, 7 years. So I think they got to focus on that first. And then 2025, try to make a playoff run. I think that's what you got to go for if you're the Angels. Kind of sucks to think about now, but the team is just not performing well, and it's just been that way for years. And then there's the other question is, will the owner sell the franchise? We obviously had this discussion in the offseason. He wanted to sell the squad or whatever, and then he decided not to. Because if it does get sold, that means more money could be put in the team. We could see what happened with the Mets in 2021 with, all the money they put into that squad, and they finally got in the playoffs. Didn't have the best run, but, they did get into the playoffs at least. So we'll see what happens with the Angels moving forward, but it's just a very interesting situation with all the hype about this team at the beginning of the year. Like, oh, they're a playoff roster. Personally, I didn't really think they were a playoff roster. I kind of had them outside the pack in the wild card, which I was currently right about that decision at least. Yeah, where do you think the Angels go from here? It's just a very interesting situation with a team like this that hasn't won in a while. They're trying to win. They have the money for it, but there's just no success really anywhere when you look at it, besides from a couple guys that they have. I mean, this team can win ball games. They just got to string wins together, and that really doesn't happen for this team. I mean, we saw it with the crazy loss streak they had after the trade deadline. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Where do the Angels go from here? Who do they sign from here? I mean, what do you guys think in general? It'll be interesting to see where they go in the draft lottery, obviously, with that whole system being in place. They picked 11th, I think, so I think they only went down one spot from last year. So we'll see what happens with this year. We'll see if they get a better spot to pick from, but very interesting situation when you guys think about it. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.